But we had a
Yeah.
girl. She was what is it called? She made the national team for not national team, but the national honors for
Okay.
wrestling. Like
Oh
what
wow.
um like if you get first team all region, but like for the national level,
Yeah.
That's
you
cool.
know what is that
Yeah.
called? Dang it, whatever. But
I know what you're talking about. I can't think of the term.
she was just like an amazing, phenomenal wrestler. And a school here in Arizona wanted to recruit her to wrestle. And the teachers are like, just like, okay, at our school, like, what do we need to do? Like, let's pay the application fee. Let's get her like a physical. Let's do all these things for this girl and let's help her. But like the thing that we were running into was there was like a green card issue where like her family was from, I don't remember, but the date of birth had been messed up, and the mom never like finished applying, like filling out like the update for it, and all this like weird stuff. And so we hired a lawyer. The teachers came together and we hired a lawyer, like
That's
Wow.
awesome.
to look at this. Like we're and like think about had they not had these teachers, like what this kid is trying to do the right thing. She's trying to like, the school wants her, this university wants her real bad, but they can't take her if like all of her stuff is messed up. And
Yeah.
so we're just trying, like these kids are doing the right thing. She's a beast at wrestling. She got good grades, like, and then they're running into roadblocks. So that was just another one. And then the mom just took off, left back to her home country, and I was just like, okay, well, you're 18 now, so like you got this.
Yep.
Like,
Go figure it out. See
yeah,
ya.
it's like, dang, we're just like, no, that's not, we need a little bit more, we needed more support there before sending her off into adulthood.
Yeah.
But I was going to say, the other thing that you guys reminded me of was the, like, there are a lot of different cultures coming into, especially high school, because elementary school, you can kind of get away with a lot of, parents still kind of rule they trump everything. Like if a parent doesn't want their kid to do whatever, a parent complaint is all it takes to get that kid out of whatever.
Yeah.
Once you get into high school, it's a little bit more of like, no, like your kid actually does have to do homework. Your kid actually does have to take PE. Like you have to get a PE credit. You have to get an art credit. You have to get a certain amount of math credits. Like you're not allowed, well, my kid doesn't like math. Bummer. Like, sorry, you're going to still have to take math unless you go to a different school and then you can, I don't know, do whatever you want. But the thing that we've been trying to figure out is how do we get parents on board? How do we get families that maybe aren't from an educational background, or like an American school background? How do we get them on board for, hey, here's what's best for your child, because here's how the system's laid out, and here's how we're going to get them through the educational system. Because a lot of parents, they want, well, I want my kid to work. I understand you want them to work as soon as possible, like maybe even at 14 working in the family business or whatever. But is that going to set them up for long-term success? We don't know. But what I can tell you is if they don't finish high school, it's going to be a lot worse for them to go out and get a higher paying job later on. Well, they're making good money at 14. Yeah, as a 14-year-old, any dollars are, it's a good paycheck, right?
Right.
But like, so we almost wanted to start like a school for school. Like it's like teaching families about school and the system that like, like, why is it important to have a space to do homework and not sitting on the couch in front of the TV? Yeah. Well, my kid, my kid tries to do his homework. It takes him 5 hours to do his homework. It should not take anybody 5 hours to do high school homework. Like no teacher that I know of is giving out 5 hours of homework. The reason it's taking your kid 5 hours of homework is because they've never learned how to do homework. They need a secluded space. They need free of distractions. They need the time, like to not get interrupted by family. Come do this, come do this, come do this. And I understand that that's really hard for families that need babysitters. They need to take care of, they need to make the meals. They need to go finish chores. I understand that. But like, if you give them 20 minutes to crank out some homework in a, like, I mean, I've had students that don't have desks. They're like, they don't have beds. Their whole life is in their little apartment, and it's on their couch. That's their bed. That's their desk. That's their everything. And so I'm like, no wonder you don't get homework done. No wonder you can't focus. Like, and I'm like, how the heck is this kid so smart, such a hard worker, has all these like this amazing drive, these amazing creative ideas. He's brilliant. And I'm like, but I wouldn't do homework if I was just sitting on the couch. Right. Like, I don't know. It's crazy to think that like people don't understand the value of like a workstation. Like, so we wanted to do like this schooling for like parents or school, like just to educate people on the, like the value of certain things. Like, why is homework important? Why is studying in a secluded area important? Why is, don't do homework at 1 a.m. Like, because sleep is also more important. Like,
right.
Like, and the trade-offs, teaching them trade-offs of like, yeah, you might work at a young age and you might make some money and help your family, or finish high school, go to college, and then really support your family later on.
How much of that do you think has to do with the love of learning? You know what I mean? Like, it's hard to motivate someone when they don't love or enjoy the content that they're trying to learn. So how do you provoke them, if you will, as a teacher, or inspire them to love learning? And I think that that's kind of the reason why when I look at Gen Zers, a lot of them are just done with school as an institution. And I think that trend is only going to continue. I'm not saying there aren't going to be specialized schools and people like yourself who obviously have a higher level of care for the students. Like the story you were telling earlier about all of these teachers banding together for this student to get a lawyer. Crazy. I haven't heard of stuff like that.
Oh, dude.
I think most teachers are punching in and punching out, getting that check, putting it on the kids, and they're like, hey, your parents need to help you, or you have YouTube. And the kids are like, you're right, I have YouTube. Why do I need you? And I don't have to. I can get on YouTube, learn a skill. I can stream, games or, whatever it is, and I can monetize myself. And so I think that there's this, like, especially as knowledge commerce continues to grow. You were talking about earlier, there was a person who's doing some stuff with streaming. I guess as an educator, my question would be like, how do you balance that love for learning and helping to nourish young minds, but also like realizing the trends in culture, almost like saying, well, if I'm taking this kid and I'm teaching them institutionalism, I'm almost like keeping them back from progress. It's like, how do you manage that tension as an educator?
Yeah, no, that's a great question, because I don't know. I guess maybe you have like the old guard versus the new guard, of where the old guard is like, I'm a science teacher and I'm going to teach you science because I love science. Like, you're going to love science. Like, that's all. And that's all I get paid to do is teach science. I'm not getting paid to also care about your feelings and care about
right.
Like, which is, like, I get it. It's true. That is a true statement. You are not getting paid to be their parent. You're not getting paid to be their babysitter. You, like, 100% I agree with that. However, that's also like a football coach that says, well, I'm just here to drop strategy. Sure, maybe, but you're not going to get the most out of your players. You're not going to win the championship like that.
Right.
So then there's this new guard that comes in, and maybe they're too emotional. Maybe they're too, I mean, because I would say
that's a good point, man.
Because I would say that there's in elementary school, and people are going to hate me for this, but I would say that elementary school has gone overboard with the care. And they've kind of
What do you mean by that?
So the elementary school teachers have they've backed themselves into a corner because they've realized they needed to step in and fill a gap of care. They needed to fill the gap of care that was missing. So elementary school teachers now, like, it started maybe as like just a nice gesture, like, hey, come into my classroom and eat breakfast. I'll make sure I have granola bars. Well, now it's mandatory for a lot of elementary schools. The students have to be in their classroom before the school. Like, so teachers have to be in their classroom overseeing who is eating breakfast. Then at lunch, You have to make sure so then teachers are out on lunch duty and they're not getting paid for it. But
So now a gesture becomes a responsibility.
Exactly. And then after school duty, that they have to make sure that the kids get off campus, because now they have to make sure that like the kids aren't just walking off campus. They're not just leaving. They're not just going with random strangers aren't picking up kids, because we live in an awful world now where strangers are trying to abduct kids from school. So teachers have had to step in, and they're security guards, they're nurses, they're parents, they're caregivers. They're stepping into these roles. And that's not a bad thing, but I think it's almost so much that now elementary schools, and I'm sure it's everywhere, junior high and high schools, but these teachers are stepping into a role that it's not a teaching role anymore. It's you're part psychologist, you're part you're a special ed teacher, you're a math content specialist, you're also the gym coach, you're also the esports coach, you're also the student council sponsor, and you're also supposed to know how to effectively teach multiple different levels in the same. You're supposed to be able to do all of these things, and then on top of that, they also want you to be the security guard. Did I already say that one?
But that's a great point.
And it's and it's a good thing because we want to care for these kids, but you're almost overdoing it to where you miss out on the teaching side of it.